Good morning, esteemed colleagues, faculty members, and students. My name is Vin, and it is a distinct pleasure to be here today. I will be presenting a comprehensive overview of the research paper titled, Exploring Student and Lecturer Perceptions of Artificial Intelligence in English for Tourism Training, authored by Nguyen Xuan Vinh. This study delves into a topic of immense contemporary relevance: how the key actors in education, our students and our teachers, are perceiving and adapting to the rapid integration of AI. We will focus specifically on the specialized context of English for tourism training in Vietnam, a field where technology holds transformative potential. We are living in an era defined by the Fourth Industrial Revolution, a period of unprecedented technological advancement that is fundamentally reshaping industries, societies, and of course, higher education. At the forefront of this transformation is artificial intelligence. For a dynamic and communication-intensive field like English for Tourism, or EFT, AI is not just a novelty, it represents a paradigm shift. It offers new ways to personalize learning, practice real-world skills, and prepare students for a globalized workforce. This study, therefore, was motivated by a critical need to understand how this powerful technological shift is being viewed from the inside, by the very people it is designed to serve. Here is the roadmap for our presentation today. We will follow a logical progression to build a comprehensive understanding of the research. First, in setting the stage, we will begin with a broad introduction and background on AI's role in language education. I will then cover the specific benefits and challenges of AI integration, review stakeholder perspectives from existing literature, and narrow our focus to the unique AI context within English for tourism training in Vietnam. Next, we will move to the research framework. This is where I will outline the specific research gaps this study addresses, define its core objectives, and present the four main hypotheses that guided the investigation. Following that, in the methodology section, I will provide an overview of the research design, describe the survey instruments in detail, and present the demographic profiles of both the student and lecturer participants. The core of our presentation will be the key findings, where I will present the statistical results separately for students and then for lecturers, highlighting the significant differences we discovered. We will then transition to the discussion and implications. Here, we will interpret what these results mean in a broader context and discuss the practical implications for educators, institutions, and policymakers. Finally, I will conclude the presentation by acknowledging the study's limitations, suggesting directions for future research, and summarizing the main takeaways. So, without further ado, let's begin by setting the stage. Zooming in on language education specifically, AI's impact is already significant. Driven by breakthroughs in natural language processing and the availability of big data, AI is creating learning environments that are more flexible, adaptive, and accessible than ever before. As noted by scholars like Zhao and Zhou in 2025, we're seeing AI being used for a wide range of applications, from automated tools that can grade essays and provide instant feedback, to self-paced modules that allow students to learn at their own speed, and even sophisticated AI tutors that can simulate native speaker pronunciation. This is the technological landscape in which our study is situated. The theoretical benefits of AI are well documented in recent literature. For instance, Kontara and colleagues found that AI can significantly enhance personalized learning experiences. In the crucial area of academic writing, research by Ding and Zhou in 2024 has shown that tools like Grammarly and Quillbot can tangibly improve students' coherence, vocabulary, and overall writing quality. Beyond skills, AI also boosts learner satisfaction. The instant feedback loops and the ability to practice in simulated real-life scenarios, as highlighted by Karatas et al., make students feel more confident and engaged. Even for notoriously difficult skills like speaking, tools like ChatGPT are now receiving positive evaluations for their potential. However, it's crucial to approach this with a balanced perspective. The integration of AI is not without its challenges. Perhaps the most cited concern is the risk of over-reliance. As Bauer and Zhai pointed out, an over-dependence on AI tools might inadvertently foster laziness and hinder the development of genuine, deep-seated language acquisition. Another significant concern is the potential reduction in human-to-human interaction, which remains a cornerstone of effective language pedagogy. And then there are the profound ethical questions. Salum and Holmes have raised alarms about data privacy, security, and the potential for algorithmic bias to perpetuate existing inequalities. These are not minor hurdles. They are complex issues that require careful consideration. So, how do the stakeholders themselves feel? Generally, studies show that students hold pragmatic and moderately positive views. Their acceptance often hinges on very practical factors. Is it useful? Is it easy to use, as Kim and Zhai's research suggests? Lecturers, on the other hand, while often positive towards technology, face a more fundamental challenge. As Selick and his colleagues noted in 2022, effectively integrating AI requires a significant pedagogical shift, moving away from the traditional role of a knowledge transmitter to become a facilitator, a guide, and a learning experience designer. Now, let's bring our focus specifically to Vietnam. Here, research into AI for English for tourism is still in its nascent stages. It's an emerging and relatively under-researched field. Encouragingly, recent studies, such as the one by Hein et al., show a shift in focus from merely describing the technology to understanding the attitudes and readiness of the users. These early explorations confirm that there are unique opportunities and challenges within the local educational environment, which reinforces the need for context-specific research like the one we are discussing today. This brings us to the core motivation for this study. We identified three critical gaps in the existing literature. First, a disproportionate amount of research focuses on general English, leaving specialized fields like EFT overlooked. Second, there is a striking lack of studies that directly compare the perspectives of students and lecturers within the same institutional context. And third, there's a clear scarcity of empirical data from Vietnam. Therefore, the primary objective of this research was to address these gaps by comprehensively examining and comparing the perceptions of these two key stakeholder groups within the Vietnamese EFT context. To provide a clear framework for our investigation, we formulated four main hypotheses. The first two focus on students, postulating that their perceptions of AI would differ based on their academic year level and their self-assessed AI proficiency. The latter two hypotheses focus on lecturers, proposing that their perceptions would vary according to their years of teaching experience and, more specifically, their AI-related teaching skills. These hypotheses allowed us to systematically test the influence of experience and competence on AI acceptance. To test these hypotheses, a quantitative, cross-sectional survey design was employed. This allowed us to capture a snapshot of current perceptions from a large and relevant sample. We successfully collected data from 345 EFT students and 211 EFT lecturers through online questionnaires. The data was then rigorously analyzed using IBM SPSS Statistics, version 25. Our analytical process included descriptive statistics to profile the sample, Cronbach's alpha to ensure the reliability of our measurement scales, and one-way ANOVA to identify any statistically significant differences between our defined groups. The data collection was carried out using two distinct, structured questionnaires, each tailored to either students or lecturers. Both instruments utilized a 5-point Likert scale to measure perceptions across several key dimensions. For students, we measured constructs like learning effectiveness, experience and satisfaction, motivation, and the perceived quality of the AI tools. For lecturers, the constructs were slightly different, focusing on instructional effectiveness, perceived impact on students, their own challenges and motivations, and their assessment of AI tool quality. This multi-dimensional approach was crucial for capturing a nuanced and comprehensive picture. Let's briefly look at who our student participants were. We had a total of 345 students, with a very balanced distribution across all 4 academic years, from first year to final year students. When asked to self-rate their AI proficiency, the largest group, nearly 40%, identified themselves at the analytical level, suggesting a confident user base. Unsurprisingly, the vast majority, 80%, reported using a laptop or PC as their primary device for learning, which is important context for understanding technology integration. Turning to our 211 lecturer participants, we see a highly experienced and exceptionally qualified group. A remarkable 64% hold a PhD, and nearly 60% have more than 11 years of teaching experience. In terms of their AI skills, the most common response was selective application, meaning they're using AI tools in a targeted, deliberate manner. Their self-reported readiness levels, with the majority in the trial stage, or ready, paint a picture of a faculty that is actively engaging with and open to adopting new technologies. Now we move to the heart of the study, the key findings. For students, two factors proved to be highly significant. First, their academic year mattered. First-year students reported significantly lower perceptions of learning effectiveness and satisfaction compared to their senior peers. This suggests a learning curve or an adaptation period. Second, their AI proficiency was a major determinant. Students with higher AI skills not only perceived AI as more effective for their learning but were also more motivated and engaged. Interestingly, perceptions about the quality of the AI tools themselves did not vary significantly with either year level or proficiency. The findings for lecturers were equally insightful. Here, a fascinating distinction emerged. A lecturer's years of general teaching experience significantly influenced how they evaluated AI tools and perceived the challenges of integration. However, it was their specific AI teaching skills, their pedagogical competence with technology, that determined their belief in its effectiveness and its positive impact on students. Crucially, the perception of challenges like infrastructure or ethics was consistent across all skill levels, strongly suggesting these are seen as systemic, institutional problems, not issues of individual capability. These findings are not just academic, they lead to clear, actionable implications for educational institutions. First, we must move beyond one-size-fits-all training. We need targeted onboarding for first-year students and advanced workshops for lecturers that focus specifically on pedagogical integration, not just technical use. Second, institutions must be strategic in their investment, curating and providing tools that are contextually relevant to the specific demands of the tourism industry. Third, establishing clear, transparent ethical frameworks is non-negotiable to build trust and allay valid concerns. And finally, all these efforts must be guided by a human-centered approach, always ensuring that AI serves to augment, not replace, human intellect and interaction. So, what does this all mean when we bring it together? Three major themes emerge from the data. First, the findings unequivocally show that both experience and digital competence are decisive factors. This is consistent with the broader literature from researchers like Karatas and Kim. It underscores the need for targeted support for newcomers, both students and faculty. Second, for educators, there's a critical difference between simply using a tool and skillfully integrating it into one's pedagogy. It is this pedagogical skill that builds confidence. And third, the study highlights that many of the most significant barriers are systemic. As Saloom's 2024 work suggests, issues of infrastructure, funding, and ethical policy transcend individual skill and require institutional-level solutions. As with any rigorous research, it is important to acknowledge its limitations. The cross-sectional nature of this study provides a valuable snapshot, but it cannot capture how perceptions might evolve over time. Furthermore, the use of convenience sampling means we should be cautious about generalizing the findings to all universities in Vietnam. To build upon this important foundation, future research should consider longitudinal designs to track these changes. Incorporating qualitative methods like interviews would provide richer, deeper insights into the why behind the numbers. Expanding the sample and, critically, linking these perceptions to objective student performance data would be invaluable next steps. In conclusion, this study confirms that both students and lecturers within the Vietnamese English for tourism context recognize AI as a promising and powerful educational tool. However, their perceptions are not monolithic. They are complex and significantly shaped by their experience, their background, and their technological proficiency. The single most critical takeaway from this research is the urgent need to enhance digital competence for both learners and educators. This is the key to unlocking AI's full potential. Ultimately, this study provides a robust empirical foundation to guide institutions in developing AI integration strategies that are not only effective, but also ethical and sustainable for the future. That concludes my presentation. Thank you very much for your time and your thoughtful attention. I would now be delighted to open the floor for any questions or discussion you may have.